Alright, this is another JavaScript application. Let me show you what it does. Once I click on this upload image, it is asking me to choose the image. We have two images in our desktop. Let me just choose this first image. You will see the preview of the image along with the name of the image that gets displayed here. Now if you're not interested, you can just click on the X button and it will get removed. The same way, let me just select another image and you see the name getting displayed over here, and again the close button, once I click on it, it gets removed. Alright YouTube, in this video I'm going to show you how to create this application using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Let me just show you what it does. It will allow you to upload an image and see the preview of it. If I click on this upload button, it's asking me to choose the image to upload. Here in the desktop I have just two images. I want you to look at the image name. Let me just click on it. You'll see the image name getting displayed over here along with the preview of the image. In case if you're not interested, you can just click on the X button and it will be removed, and it will ask you to upload the image again. Let me click on the upload button and let me just choose the another image. You can see the image name is different. Now you can see the preview of the image along with the image name, and as I said, if I click on it, it will get removed. Fine. As this is episode number 85, I have created a complete playlist for the vanilla JavaScript projects. So starting from episode 1 and till here now episode number 85. If you are interested in learning vanilla JavaScript project, I'll leave the link in the description. Now for this code, I have created the folder called file upload and preview, which will be available for download. I'll leave the link in the description again. In case if you got stuck somewhere, just copy paste the code and start along with me. Now let's start coding. Alright, let me just show you the HTML first. So if you see, we have a main container. So inside the main container we have three siblings. The first one is wrapper, the second one is input type file, and the third one is just the button. So in the first sibling, it's a main container which holds image, content, close button and file name. So inside wrapper we have a image. It's just a image container with class image, and the actual image file is inside here. And then for the second content, we have a font awesome icon along with this fan tag, and then we have close button. You can see inside the close button we have again a font awesome icon which is close, and finally the class file name with span file name. Here it's going to be the actual file name. Now that's it for the CSS. Sorry, that's it for the HTML. Now let's get into the CSS. So as of now, don't forget to include the script file, sorry, the style sheet file and the script file at the header and footer. Just above the style sheet we have our font awesome CDN link. In the style sheet I have imported the font called Poppins. You can see three different variation of font weight: 300, 500, 600, 700. And now for all element I have made margin padding 0, box sizing border box, and the font family Poppins. And this is the hierarchy of CSS as I have shown you in the HTML. It's the same way, and I don't think I have to spend time on knowing this or showing this. Now let's design the CSS. Let's get into the body and let's add the background color. So let's see, yes, and I have selected the color palette for this code. Let's just use this for the background color and let the container be something like the yellow. Don't forget to add hash. It's a hex code, so we need to add hash. Now whatever is there inside the body, I want it to display at the center, so in that case I'll use display flex align item center, and justify content center. In order for the align item and justify content to work, you need to give height and width. Height 100% of viewport height. Viewport is nothing but your screen. Width 100% of viewport width. Now let's give the height and width to the container. So width, let that be 450 pixel. Height, let that be 600 pixel. Now let's see how does it looks. I think it's too much, too big. Now let me just make this 300 or something. Fine, let's see how to as we progress, we'll just change the value and see. Now in case if you want to add gradient, it's also possible. For the body, linear gradient CSS. So here it's not going to be background, just the background, and we need to give the gradient. So you can, let me just copy paste. You can see the properties background image. If I insert the value for the linear gradient, we'll use this as a first color stop, and the second color stop, let that be this color code. Now if I refresh, this is how it looks. Let's just try changing this color code and check. Cool, that looks cool. Now let's add padding to the container, 2 rem on all sides. Now for the wrapper, let's have width of 100% and height of 200 pixel, and let's just give different colors to see the border, or you can give border 2 pixel solid, not solid, dashed black. It's pixel. Now we can remove this red color as we have border. Now inside the wrapper, as we know, we have image, content, and the close button and file name. So whatever is there inside, let's just make this display flex, align item center, justify content center. Now in this case, we don't want all the content on side by side. Instead, I want it to one below the other. So in that case, we'll add flex direction column, so we get one below the other. So this close button should be on the right top corner of the container. So in that case, because we are going to position absolute over here. Whenever we use position absolute, we want the parent to be position relative, or else the browser will calculate the position relative as the body. Fine. Now let's get into the button. Position absolute, right of 15 pixel, top of 15 pixel. We can change the color red, it's up to you, and you can increase the font size as well. Font size 20 pixel. Let's just we want the top to be like 10 pixel. Cool. The same way for the file name, and as of now we'll just make this display none. We'll use this in the JavaScript. We'll use the display block in JavaScript. So before that, cursor pointer. So when I hover it, I want the cursor to change to pointer, and display none as of now. The same for the file name. In this case, instead of the file name being positioned on the top left, we have to make this bottom 0, and let that, we can make this left 50% if we want, and let's use the background color as red just to see, and let's use the width of 100% so that it stretch instead of left 50, we'll make left 0%. Cool. So whatever is there, we can make this text align center, text align center. Now just copy this for the file name. And if you want, you can add the height here, let's say 50 pixel or 30 pixel. Cool. And again, let this be display none, and we'll make this display block on with JavaScript. And we have input type file. Let's just make this hidden because we'll manipulate it with JavaScript. We'll use this button to style, width of 100%, height of 50 pixel, background red, margin top 10 pixel, border none, cool. And for the container, I have specified the height. Let me make this auto, not for wrapper but for container. Cool. So that the padding 2% get applied on all sides. If I give height, then we saw the problem. We could not see the padding. For the button, let me just choose this color. And the font size, I know it's too big. Cool. And let's just make this cursor as pointer. Cool. That's enough for the CSS. And not to forget, let me just link the image and see. We have in the folder, you can see there are two images. Plus let me just use n1.jpg. So you see that it's taking the place of the actual size is so big so that it stretches out of the actual container. So in this case, let me just give the width as 100% and height as 100% to the image container. So if I say the image container width and height same, so it is going to take the parent height and width. So in this case, the parent is width is 100% and height is 200 pixel. So 100 and 200 pixel, and whatever is there inside, let me just make this overflow hidden. And now it's time for the you can see the two divs are fighting for a place. So we have two divs. The first one is image and the second one is content. Both are fighting to fix inside the wrapper. The other two we have given position absolute, so it's not doing anything. Again, once I upload, I want to fill this place. So in that case, what I'll do is I'll just make this position absolute, so it takes the whole place. Now let me just give the height and width 100% to the actual image tag, and object fit as cover. So the reason for giving cover is, irrespective of the height and width, it will fix the height and width of the container. I see the 2 pixel is too big. Instead of 2 pixel, we'll just make this 1 pixel. Cool. If you want, you can zoom in. Now, as I said, let me just make the image display none. Cool. So that's enough for the CSS. Now let's just get into the script file. for visually appealing, I just changed the gradient color and little bit of CSS here and there. Now let's start working on this JavaScript file. Now the very first thing that we need to do is we need to add a on click function on the upload image button. So let's just define that function in the script.js file. So what should happen when I click on this? Let's just first show alert just to see whether we are able to connect the script file with our HTML. Click on the upload image, refresh. Yes, we are able to connect our script file. Now let's just call the file input type file over the JavaScript file using the query selector document dot query selector. Use the hash file upload input. So when I click on it, we'll just add the click function. So let me just remove this and show you. Let me just remove this for now, and if I click here, you'll see the file explorer getting opened. The same way, if I click on this upload image button, you'll see again the file explorer shows up. It's because I'm passing the click event from the button to the input type file, from button to the input type file using this line of code. Now what we need to do is we need to retrieve the file. Let there be hidden. So to get the file name that I have passed, console.log this dot files with index of 0. Refresh this. Let's just select a file. That shows an error. Let me see what it is. So we cannot get this because this, if I say this means the button. But what we need to do is we'll write the code, comment it, but we'll add a change listener, add event listener, which is change. So if there is change detected on the input type file, let me just display it. Upload. If there is a change detected, then you'll see the file got placed. So there could be a chance of error as well. So if I click it and does not choose anything, and if I close, you'll see undefined, and it is considered as an error. So what we'll do is we'll just store this into a variable called file, and if file exists, console.log yes, then display yes. Let me just see. I know the spelling mistake, there is a spelling mistake. So if I close it, you won't see any message. But if I select an image, you'll see the value. I think, let me just console this only when there is file. Let me select a file. If I select a file, you'll see the value S as well as the console shows up. If I don't select anything and just close it, you should not see anything. Fine, that works. Now in this case, we're able to get the file. Now we need to pass the file to the source attribute of this image. So let's just call this document query selector. Inside the image class, we have image. this is image hyphen tag image tag dot src source attribute. We cannot directly pass pass this or the file which we have assigned it. We cannot directly pass this. In this case it won't work. So what we need to do is we need to define an object, new file reader, and we'll create the reference of the file reader into a variable called reader, and this will be triggered when there is a change is found on the input type file. So when there is a change on load, what we'll do is we'll create a function, and over here we can get the result, and now we can append the image, or we'll just directly store it into a variable called result, and in the next line we'll just append the result over here. So the reader object you will only receive on the input type file. Now this alone is not enough. Just after the onload we have to call the function or the reference of the object, and there's a function called readAsDataURL, and we need to pass the file inside. readAsDataURL. So once everything is done, we should be able to see the image. If there is no any change, let's just check the console. Let me first, yeah, that's a mistake on file reader. That seems to be alright. It's capital F. Console.log. Let's just place the file. When there's a change, we're able to get into this. Let me just try printing this console.log the result. Yes, this is also. Now this is, instead of previously it was like the object, now you can see this is getting converted into data URL. Now we can append this result into the source tag. I think we can directly call this and try. So before that, so read.dataURL is also working. I think the problem is we have given display none on the image, that's why it's not showing up. Yeah, you can see. So in this case what we can do is dot style, or we'll just do one thing. We'll use JavaScript. Dot style dot display equal to block. Let me choose different image and upload it. Actually it should be on the image container, not on the image. And to cool, let's try different image, N1 and cool, that works. Alright, now let's do one thing. Instead of adding this display block, what we will do is we'll get the wrapper class and add a class active on it. So if you know, wrapper class is the container class for all the elements. Wrapper class, wrapper div, and over here we know we have made this image display block. So get the wrapper class, and if the wrapper class has active, if the wrapper class has active, then we have a image class, make it display block. The same way we have file name also, it's by default display none, we'll make this display block. So if you see file name just above there, display block, display none is there, we'll make this display block. Cool. Now here it's time to make wrapper div dot class list dot add active. Let's see, once image gets displayed, we should see the class active appended on the wrapper. So you can see active is there, and you can see the file name got display block. Along with that, we need to show the close button as well. Where is the close button? Yeah, it's over here. So if you see, we have made this display none on CSS, and when there is active, we want to show the close button. So when we upload an image, you'll see the file name also shows up and the close button also shows up. Now let me just display the file name. So with the with the JavaScript, let me just access this file name. We have a span tag inside it. So we just need to make the text content my custom name. Let me just show you. Once we upload, we should able to manipulate the file name as my custom name. Cool. Now with this file, you can see with this file, it's a node list, I believe. Let me just upload it and show you. We get all the parameters. So it's an object. We get all the parameters like last modified, the date, the name, the size, the type. So I want the name, I want the size. Let me just display it. In the console you should see the name and size. You can see this is name and this is file size, and we can display the file name over here instead of my custom name. Let me just upload the n1. We should see n1.jpg. If it is n2, we should see n2.jpg. Let me try something in the desktop. You see, it's working as we need now. So if you need the value, previously we were getting bytes. Now we can divide by 1024 and round it. So you'll get the, let me just hover it. You'll see it's 80 KB. If I upload it, you should see 80. So again, you can see 52 KB. If I upload it, you will see 52. So we are able to get the, we can make plus KB, upload once again, you'll see 52 KB. If you want, you can display it, but I'm not going to display it. It's not at all required for this. So everything seems to be working as we thought. Now if I click on this X, I want to remove this image. So get the close button. Here we have a close button. Just to figure this, it's an ID. We need to add a click listener. Let me just make this dot add event listener, which is click. What should happen? I want to remove the source attribute where we have added. It's over here. Just remove the source attribute and remove the added active class on the wrapper. Refresh it, click on X, sorry, upload. If I click on this X, you cannot read properties of null. It says it could not read the property. I think it's line number 27. It's referring to our close button. First, let's just see whether it's a class or it's a class. Refresh it. The reason for writing this inside console, close it, and it's gone. The reason for writing inside the onload function is because by default I have made this display none. There could be a chance that JavaScript could not find it and could not add event listener click on it. That's the reason I'm first making this with making the wrapper active. In return, once the wrapper is active, we'll make the close button display block as I have written on the CSS, and in that case, once it's block, now we could able to add the click event listener, and we can make the image source attribute none and remove the added active class if clicked on X. Cool. I think the scope of this video is done. Thank you so much for listening.